This is the 6th video in the series, and in this video you can see some tricks about cables and terminals. You've probably wondered about terminals and cables, but this video is dedicated to terminals and cables because they might be a little bit tricky. If I want to add terminals to a project like this, I can pick my terminals here in my pick menu once again, and I'll, for this project, just click some through terminals. So if I double click or zoom in here, I can use a function called multi-placement. Multi-placement is simply for terminals, and it's a function that goes in. I can just add it to 2 here. Execute terminals and call them x1:1. We're back to the basics from video 1. And now I have added a terminal row of x1 and the position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And the multi-placement function is simply one that does this, aligns them and counts them and sets one invisible at the other end. However, if this is motors, I cannot count this function, unfortunately. So if I want it to be motor terminals, I'll go in and call it x1:, and I can call it u. And I'll go to this one and call it V and make it invisible, and that's all what the multi-placement function does for me normally. And in this way it'll be called UV and W. And then I can copy, Control C, and place them here, Control V, and rename the terminals or rename the terminal connection points. That's possibilities you have here. And it looks like this. Terminals, this part is not very difficult, but when you look at terminals, beware that you have connection points here, and one is white and one is green. And if you look at the white one, you can see in the lower line that it's got input status. That means that this is the internal side of the terminal row. Normally that would be the outward side of the terminal row if you look into the panel. Whereas this green one, or filled out one, is got status of output. That means that's a downwards part or side of the terminal row. So because I need for my terminal to be able to distinguish between internal side and external side, that's what I can do here, and you can see it on the color of the terminal points. And when we have a circuit like this on the power circuit on this page here, it's not very difficult because motors are very, very rarely inside a panel, so in that way it's pretty logical to have it this way. But if we go to this control circuit here, this contact here is probably outside the panel. That means that if I add a terminal here, we can call this x1:2 and call it position 1. And I can go here, and this one will be position 2. I can use a question mark. And now you see that this side here is okay because the green points downwards. That means out to this external component. But here it's wrong. So on this terminal here I need to right click, and then I can, it's not easy to see that here, but I can pin swap, and that means that I can turn it upside down. I think I'll need to zoom out a little bit, and then I can do the same thing here and place this one here, call that x2:1, and we can take this one, call it x2:2. And if I have this one here, right click and pin swap. It's not very easy to see. I'll just have to zoom out even more. You see, just to see the menu item here, you can see pin swap. It's right at the bottom here, and that's a possibility you have on the terminals when you look into the control circuit. If I want to do this for the page here, I could copy my terminals and add them here, and again add them here, because all those terminals here would be need to turn upside down, and in this one I can pin swap here. Now the right click menu is not that big. Pin swap, and that means that you see they turned upside down. So now my terminals are okay. If I go to this page again, I also need to add some cables, and I have cables up here in my pick menu again. Have 4 conductors without screen, and I'll take this 4 conductor without screen. And if I add this one to my diagram here, I can click here, and it's called W as wire or something like that. See, it's got 4 wires inside it, and I can click here. Now I get this line here, and when I click here, I get all the colors inside this cable. So I only need to click and say it was black, and the next one is brown, and the third one here is gray. That's a cable I have here, escape. And now, what's this small arrow here? This arrow here is a direction arrow. So this cable has got a direction. It comes from the terminal row and it goes to the motor. And that direction arrow is only a sorting direction that I need for my cable list. And it makes perfect sense here. However, if I go to this page here, I need to have the same logic on a page like this. And I know this is a standard symbols for cables, but they're very big for control circuits. So I have a small cable symbol here that I can use for it. And if I go in here and click here and say, now I just want a cable here, this time I'm not worried about the article number. I can click here and click in this one. So you are conductor number 1. Click here, and if I click directly below it and click on this line here and say you are conductor number 2, you see the direction arrows here. They are correct, meaning that my wire comes from this terminal in this direction to this external component, and from this connection here, and got that direction to this external component here. And on this page, the direction arrows, they make perfect sense. And you can see what it means in the lists here. I can see I have a terminal, I have a cable list. We can go to that page here, update the list, and you can see cable 2 goes from terminal 1 to terminal 2 to this switch terminals 1 and 2, and that's what those directions are about. And you can also see the first cable comes from this terminal row to this motor. So direction makes sense for the list that you have in the back of your project.